If Republicans win in parts of the country where Democrats once ruled, it's going to largely be due to the dramatic shift to the right by Latinos who are fed up with the cost of living. They're fed up, like Leora said, with crime and a radicalized school curriculum. We haven't talked about that yet. Well, the New York Times' own reporting shows that many who are supporting the GOP on the most important issues facing the country are those exact issues. A focus group comprised of Hispanics across Texas, Florida, and Arizona showed that they thought Republicans were stronger on a variety of issues such as crime, safety, gun control, national security, immigration, and the economy. Now, larger polls have also showed a significant shift rightward. According to the executive director of the National Association of Latino Elected and Appointed Officials, 5 weeks into our tracking poll, it's becoming clear that Republicans have gained significant ground with Latino voters since the last midterm cycle. So why is this happening?
The fact of the matter is that we don't feel safe anymore.
At times like these, it's really economic concerns that take priority, and that's what you're seeing is the Hispanic community is dealing with high interest rates, energy costs, record high inflation, and historically it's been the Republican Party that focuses on those economic issues.
Identify more with the Republican Party.
What things?
Well, we're for God, country, family, and hard work.
Claro que sí. Joining me now is Florida Congresswoman Maria Salazar. Congresswoman, great to see you tonight. Latino voters, they don't need pandering from Democrats because it seems like from everything I've read and all the surveys done, they care about the same things that everyone else does.
Of course. Thank you for having me. We're not Martians. We're Americans. And this year is going to be, 2020 is going to be the year of the Hispanic Republicans. Thank God for that. We're waking up. And why is that? Because we have the same values that are entrenched in the Republican Party. God-fearing, law-abiding, tax-paying, low taxes, small government, and family-oriented. That's what we are. And thank God that we are waking up to the fact that for 30 years, the Democratic Party has been playing political football with us. And you know why I can say it? Because before getting to Congress, I was on television. I'm one of the founders of Spanish television, Univision and Telemundo. And those are my viewers. And I know that my community does not want open borders. We want to have an orderly border. We want to have low inflation. We want to be able to raise our kids, live in dignity, which is the bill that I presented, the immigration reform bill. And we want to live in the promised land and contribute with the economy. So it's time for us to wake up, and thank God we're doing it. And the GOP is welcoming us. And I am the best example. In 2020, I was the biggest upset in the country because my people are not socialists.
No, I love that. We covered it at the time. It was awesome because there was a lot of bad news for people in 2022. But your opponent, Congresswoman, went on Al Sharpton's show over the weekend and, surprise, to attack you. Watch.
My MAGA Republican opponent is definitely out of step with our district. In Miami, politicians love to talk about freedom in Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela. We understand that freedom in those countries means that we have to defend democracy right here in America, and that's not what my opponent has done.
Congresswoman, they care about freedom and the preservation of American standards and dignity after what they've put us through over the past few years?
Listen, the problem with my opponents is that, and not only her, but the whole Democratic Party, is that they have to defend the undefendable. They have to defend something called democratic socialism. And that's why I was able to win in 2020 against one of the bastions of the Democratic Party, the longest-serving member of the Clinton administration, Mrs. Donna Shalala. She was the president of the Clinton Foundation, and I was able to unseat her. It was the only district in the country where Biden won the district and the Democratic incumbent was unseated. Why? Because we Hispanics were not socialists.
Well,
and we're understanding.
Congressman, we have to run, but I am so excited about this trend. I'm so excited across the country what we're seeing. It's a common sense Latino movement, and it's a beautiful thing to say. Thank you so much.